But if your work is the work of the Lord, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ proves that your work is never in vain. Never in vain. If you are laboring for the Lord, first of all, Christ will be glorified, whatever the response. Whatever fruit you get to see is somewhat irrelevant. You're laboring for the Lord, you're laboring faithfully, you're doing what the Lord tells you to do, God is glorified. Think of it with regard to the church. She goes out on her mission. She takes the gospel to the ends of the earth. She preaches to millions and millions and millions of people throughout the history of time. And at the end of the day, not one of those who was given to Jesus Christ will be lost. The problem is we don't get to see, we don't understand whose are the Lord's people, who's not the Lord's people. We go out, get on with the task, and maybe for long periods of time, we preach and we see nothing. Noah preached for 120 years when he built the ark, and 8 people got on the ark, and they were all in his family. There was even a question about some of them who were on the ark. Did he labor in vain? Jeremiah, the weeping prophet, goes forth to proclaim God's word to Israel. They reject him. They cast him in prison. Isaiah preaches, and at the end of his life he's taken by wicked King Manasseh and he's sawn in two. What a waste of your life. You can imagine it, can't you? That would be the verdict of the world. But God told Isaiah at the very beginning of his ministry, when he called him, "Whom shall I send and who will go for us?" And Isaiah says, "Here am I, send me." And God says, "Okay, Isaiah, let me tell you a little bit about your ministry. You're going to preach, and I'm going to close men's ears, shut men's eyes, and harden men's hearts." You still want the job? The modern church, with its methods of church growth and its head counting and what's the next way we can build the church, they would look at Isaiah and say, what a total waste. That's not the way to build the church, Isaiah. Did he labor in vain? No. You see, God evaluates these things with a different scale. And their labor was not in vain in the Lord. Christ is glorified. We have a ministry of salvation. We have a ministry of condemnation. The gospel preached will be to you a savor of life unto life or a savor of death unto death. And if you choose the latter, that's heavy upon our hearts. But listen, the preaching that you have heard will not ultimately be in vain, because God will get glory in you forever.